Oh, so all things considered, that's not too bad, I don't think. Wolves losing 3-0 to Manchester City, despite having Willy Boly sent off after about 20 minutes. I think we hung in there quite well. I don't think Manchester City played to their full potential after that. They didn't have to. But obviously the two key events in the first half was the red card for Willy Boly and the penalty. Now, I'm not going to be a massive big rant and try and get lots of views from that. I know that Nuno always says about refereeing decisions, sometimes they go for us, sometimes they go against us. I think today, I think you could justify both decisions from the referee. I think both were really naive and silly decisions from our players both times. If you look at the position of where Boly is in the pitch, why he's going diving in like that is ridiculous. People saying as well on Twitter about the inconsistencies between Vincent Kompany's foul a couple of weeks ago. It's a different referee, different situation, different game. But yeah, it did spoil the game. We weren't in it though at that point. We were already 1-0 down and Man City were looking brilliant. It just made the job even harder then for us. But I did fear that we would get somebody sent off. Just the way that we came out, looking at Conor Coady, and he was really, really pumped up for it, shouting down that line. And obviously the team talk beforehand would have been very passionate, very enthusiastic, and that obviously led to that decision. The penalty, I think, Bennett, in hindsight, when he watches it back, will be annoyed that he's gone diving in. Sterling, you know if you're going to touch him in the box, it's going to be a penalty. But Bennett didn't need to go in because he had Coady and Patricio, I think, covering. He was going down a blind alley, really, and Sterling didn't. The only other option he had was to go down, and Bennett gave him that option, and I don't think you can really complain about that one either, really. So a little bit of naivety from our players. But then the second half, it was incredibly boring. One of the worst games of football I've ever seen. But we restricted City. They've put up stats here at the end of the game now. I have to be quite critical of Sky Sports. They've barely mentioned us at all throughout the whole evening of footage. I've watched from 7 o'clock, 7:15 onwards. We've barely had a mention. They talked for ages about Spurs against United. They talked all about Manchester City through the whole game. They've barely mentioned us. But Rui Patricio, I don't think made a save or had to really pull one out of the bag. I think there was one where there was a bit of a deflection and he sort of had to tip it over the bar, but there was very, very little that he actually had to do. There were a lot of catches from misfired balls into the box and things like that. A couple of times when he had to run out of people's feet and stop them, but we know that he's very good at that. He's very quick and agile. So, if I was a Manchester City fan, I'd be annoyed that that game didn't actually finish 6-7-0 to them, because they should have really hammered us, particularly being down to 10 men for so long. But I think one real bright spark that's come out of this game, and who has, from the beginning of December, I think, he came on against Chelsea, Leander Dendoncker, I think is a really, really great player. I think thrust into that back three after 20 minutes today, he showed that he's capable in that position as well as in the midfield, which we've seen him play a couple of times now. And even in the first 10 minutes or so, I think he was equipping himself quite well. I really like him. I think while Boly's out of the team now, I expect that he will come in to that position. Although I don't think he's naturally left-footed. I don't think that particularly matters. I think he did an excellent job today. A couple of really, really good tackles and blocks at some points in the game. But yeah, I think we've got to be quite proud, really, about how the game went in the end. Going 1-0 down to City so early on, we've seen teams fold and go 3 or 4 down in 20 minutes. Going down to 10 men against City as well. We did stick a lot of players behind the ball. Traore, I think, in the second half, although we didn't have much possession at all, but every time he got the ball, he was positive in his intent and ran at the defenders and made them think a little bit. Won a couple of corners, or won one corner. And, yeah, we can't be too disappointed. But we've got a really, really good run of fixtures now from Saturday up until mid-March when we play against Chelsea, where we've got a long run of winnable fixtures. Leicester, Everton, those sort of teams in and around us. Huddersfield are thrown in there as well. Cardiff, we've got a really, really good chance to just get those points to get us up to 40 points. Then we can enjoy the rest of the season, because that's the main priority for this season. we can have ambitions of being 6th or whatever, but realistically 40 points is what we can aim for. We're 14 points away from, no, not even that, 11 points away from that. Superb for a newly promoted team at this stage of the season. But yeah, don't be too disheartened, Wolves fans, and don't be too angry at the referee. I think he got it right. But anyway, if you want to hate me in the comments, then that's fine. But please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back for Leicester footage. See ya.